Simps are demanding that men serve and obey women.
Bangers, pimps, all these men get bad raps in society. But you know who is the worst motherfucker in America? Is the one who falls in love easily because he creates a family that ain't shit. Let me tell you something about a simp. A simp will be around an immoral woman and expect all his friends and family to treat her like a queen. And
Simps are demanding that men serve and obey women. It's a very sad reality that we live in, but it is a reality nonetheless. This is how the modern day simp is. Watch it in this video to understand why simps are demanding that men serve and obey women, the results and outcomes of this. And now let's just go ahead and jump right back into the video.
Causes breakdown in society. A cake ass will be with a bitch you could never be proud of. And that motherfucker will look at his homie like his homie ain't shit. If his homie ever say, man, check your girl. One thing about a weak ass, he gets a pass because it seems like he a nice guy. But really that motherfucker's presence around a whole bunch of other people will f up everything because he got a unchecked bitch on his side. And you know what people would say? Why he say bitch? Them the type of mother I'm talking about. I'm making a strong point about what's happening in the world and the word bitch getting.
You can't treat people the way they treat you. You have to treat people the way Jesus treats you. Because ultimately, your response is your responsibility. And he says, don't repay evil for evil. Does he say there's no evil? Some people are evil. And some things that people do are evil. And categorically, you don't need to say, oh, they're a good person. They got a good heart. No, they don't. That's why Jesus died. They had to kill God to fix their heart. That's how bad it was. When you decide not to respond to evil with evil, what you're doing, you're blessing your enemies, and then you're leaving them to the Lord, and the Lord says, vengeance is mine. And so the lie is, when you've been wronged, well, I need to deal with this. And God's like, you need to trust me to deal with it.
This hot take is that being a simp is actually so attractive. Wow, that is really red. Like, guys will fully bully each other about being a simp. It's genuinely so attractive. And I just don't get why they get bullied for it. Like, it's so attractive, a guy knowing what they want and like being obsessed with you and like adoring you. Like, that's really attractive. Surely you girls have to agree that a simp is just the best thing ever.
Single guy, or you're a college guy, here's what you need to know. You're selfish. You're looking forward to an attractive woman taking care of you, which is similar to the relationship that you had with your mother. You were selfish and she would tend to you. And what we're getting right now with a lot of marriages with young men, they are immature and they attract overly responsible young women, and they end up with a relationship that looks more like a big sister and a little brother than it does a husband and a wife.
So guys, this is the crap that we are dealing with. That was Mark Driscoll, and he was already said to be not fit for service, not fit for the ministry, and yet there's a lot of controversy around him, and he is a king simp. This is a guy who basically condemns men for being single. He condemns men. If you're a single man or a college student, a college man, you are selfish. So if you're in college and you are not married, you are selfish. If you are a single man, you are selfish. Think about that very carefully. How does Mark make his money? How is he getting paid? Guys, a lot of these men are operatives. The church is just another form of the state. These men are operatives. Notice that it's built into our law that the state may be friendly with the church. They can't be one and the same, but they cannot basically, the church basically cannot rule over society directly. Okay, so there's a division between church and state, but they can be friendly with one another. In other words, they can collude as long as they don't say that the church and the state operate together and they operate hand in hand. Even if they do, it's a sick society. You know, there's a video coming up where Mark basically says you should not try to understand women. Don't try to understand them. Instead, ask yourself how you can better serve them. So you can be with someone who is absolutely rancid and evil. And you should not ask, why is this person so rancid? Why is this person so evil? Why is this person so terrible? Why do they behave this way? Why are they doing these things? Because the very moment that men understand women is the very moment that they walk away. The very moment that men understand that you can never win with a woman, because women don't operate based on facts, they operate on based on feelings, and they choose the feelings that they like. A man would say, well, then there's no winning. Exactly. You're always going to be at the mercy of her feelings. And that's what the Simps are saying. That's the way it's supposed to be. You are supposed to worship her feelings and validate her feelings and obey her feelings and serve her feelings. Do not worry about her walking out on you and divorcing you or uprooting your life. Do not, instead, if your wife is giving you a hard time, you need to learn how to serve her even better. Because that if she's not happy, if you're unhappy in a relationship, that means you as the man are doing something wrong. Because it is your job to serve your wife, not the other way around. Guys, this is crazy. And then you wonder why men walk away from the church. You wonder why men say, I'm done with it. I'm not going to look back. When they put out this type of sick message and telling men that they should give up and surrender everything and sacrifice themselves for women and society. You should be sacrificing yourself for your wife and your daughters and for the women in your life and for your society. You should be paying taxes. You should be working, not simply paying taxes, but you should be working more and creating more income so you can pay more taxes and pay more tithe so that God will be more happy, will be happier with you. Work harder so that you can give a woman a better life. And also, if you want an attractive wife, you're selfish, because your mother was attractive. She was an attractive woman that did everything for you. Well, you shouldn't be looking for an attractive wife. That's not what about marriage is about. It's about serving. You should be looking for a woman whom you can serve and serve to the best of your abilities and sacrifice your life for. Guys, this makes no sense. And yet, this is what he's putting out there. All right? Because what did I say? These are agents of the state. And they are rewarded for this because there are a lot of the state will reward them, women will reward them, society will reward them, because society, HATES, is men. It does not like us. It wants to destroy us. It wants to take our utility. And when it no longer needs us, it gets rid of us and replaces us with someone else. There was a comment in one of my videos, and a comment stuck with me. The comment really, really stuck with me. You know, this guy, he pointed out something. He said that he retired recently. He retired, and he explained that, you know, before he retired, the boss tried every single thing to get him to stay. But no matter what his boss said, he wouldn't stay, and he retired. And once he had left, he was replaced instantly. And the graveyards are filled with irreplaceable people. No one in this world is irreplaceable. You are not irreplaceable. Plan B guys are all replaceable. In fact, she never intended to stay with you. I've always said it, that the average woman is planning her divorce before she plans her wedding. She is already planning in advance to replace you. You are basically just her means of building her life off you. And that's it. And men are conditioned for this.
It really started to respect me when I started doing these three things. Number one, I stopped being passive and indecisive. This means that I started making plans, taking initiative, taking charge, being assertive in a healthy way. Number two is I started communicating more clearly. Even when things get hard, I'm willing to step in and have those conversations instead of avoiding her and shutting down. And number three, I started paying closer attention to her emotional needs for safety.
Every man and every woman is different. The Bible says that men are made to be respected, women are made to be loved. The best thing you can do is ask your spouse, honey, what would be the things I could do that would show that I love you? And what are the things that I'm doing that make it hard for you to believe that I love you? Then work on those things. And it can be a little bit shocking What one woman wants or needs is very different than what the next woman wants or needs. Stop trying to figure out women. It's impossible. At the very best, you might have a little bit of hope of just figuring out one.
Guys, this guy is a joker. Women are very easy to figure out the moment that you understand that they operate on feelings, not on facts, and they choose the feelings that they like. That's how they come to a rational decision. So this is the reason why it doesn't matter if the sky is blue, they'll say it's green if their feelings say that it is. And wherever the wind blows, their feelings will go, which is the reason why their mood can continuously change rapidly. There you guys go. There you guys go. Guys, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine that years ago we didn't have this? We never had this before, where you could go like men want to understand women, and there are just no answers. Like, how do you comprehend, guys? Here we, but because of the manosphere, now we can put it into words. Now we can quantify it. Now we can explain it. All right, and that's the thing. Once, so Al Bundy used to say something like, "Don't son, don't try to understand women. Women understand women, and they don't like one another." The reason why is because once you understand how women operate, you'll understand that this is corruption. The way that a lot of women operate is based solely around how they feel and what makes them feel good, what makes them feel right. You can't live your life that way. This is the reason why women need men to counterbalance them. This is why women need husbands. And there's some women who said it, that women cannot control their feelings. They cannot control their emotions. All right? It's very difficult for women to do. And even when they try to use reason, it becomes very easy for them to get lost in their feelings. All right? Women are able to do things like delete memories. Women have worse memories than men, but even though they're constantly bringing up stuff that from years ago. The reality is that on one hand, they often choose to selectively remember what they want to remember, even though they really do remember. All right? But then on the other hand, they also have worse memories than men. Women absolutely have worse than memories than men, except for when they're bringing up old stuff. All right, women are entirely based around emotions and feelings, do you know who teaches children how to control their feelings? Fathers. Fa- Fathers teach children how to regulate their feelings. And children who come from fatherless homes, you can see this, are the most emotional men out there. Those are the ones who end up in prison. Those are the ones who end up being gangsters. Prisons are filled with emotional men. Morgues are filled with emotional men. Cemeteries are filled with emotional men. It's not a matter of not having emotions. It's a matter of being able to control those emotions, when especially at moments when you need to be stoic and make decisions. All right? So by saying that, oh, you should not try to understand women, it's impossible. All right? And if you're lucky, maybe you'll be able to understand one woman. No, you can understand them all. You can understand them all. The very moment that you understand that women do not think like men. They can use facts when they choose to, and most of the time, what ends up happening is women will do things and they'll follow their feelings, and their feelings will, create a catastrophic event in their life. Like they'll say their feelings will tell them that there was a man better out there for them than their husbands. They'll get a divorce because they're making more money now, and they feel like they're Miss Independent. They go out there, they leave their husband, and they never find anyone else. Okay, they live this Miss Independent life. They end up racking up body counts. 20, 30 years goes by, and they find themselves single, sometimes single mothers, and they look back and they say, how the heck did this happen? All right. And then sometimes in a moment of clarity, they'll go, I listened to my feelings betrayed me, and I destroyed my life. I thought I was better than my husband. I threw him away, and I lost everything. That's how it happened. It wasn't even a matter of me not even wanting to suffer. We had everything we needed, and everything we actually want, and everything we wanted, but I still wanted more. Because women will always want more. There's no such thing as a woman being content. The more she has, the more she'll want, because she continuously needs that stimulation of exciting and new. This is why women buy things that they don't need all of the time, because they just like the prospect of owning it. All right. The Steam Bros know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not as bad as some of the Steam Bros, but it's like it's out there. Like, I've spent a couple $1,000s this year for my Steam collection. Granted, I am a YouTuber. I use video game footage in my videos, so I'm able to deduct that. That's tax deductible because I use this in producing content. However, for the typical Steam Bro, there are Steam Bros out there who have collections like over 10,000 Steam games, 12,000 Steam games, and most of those games have never been played. All right, for my collection of Steam games, I've maybe around 100 now. And I know you're a lightweight. That's a couple $1,000s. But when you look at guys who have these collections of like 10,000 games, 12,000 games, no matter what you say, even if they acquired them for $5 a pop or during Steam sales and all kinds of other crazy methods, well, mostly during sales and so forth, it doesn't matter. That account is still going to end up being worth more or less probably around in the range of a minimum of 20,000 to even up well over $100,000. And that's kind of what ends up happening with women, where they purchase clothing, all of this stuff, that ends up being out of season very quickly and ends up with no resellable value. But when they purchased it, it made their emotions happy. It made them feel happy purchasing it, and it makes them feel happy owning it, even though it has no actual value anymore. A guy goes and he buys a baseball card, but that's something tangible. And that's something, if he takes care of it, it will last. The purpose of that baseball card is not to wear and so forth. It's something that they look at. All right. It's something that a collector will have. All right. And it's something that will typically hold value or gain value. For most of the things that women own, like all of the clothing, as soon as it's out of season, it no longer has any value. Women have so many pieces of clothing that are just trash. Like, literally, they cannot be resold. No woman is buying it from them. All right, it's worth less than stuff at Walmart. Like, oh, this was so cute. Look at this dress; it was so cute. Yeah, no other woman's gonna buy that from you. There are sites online where women can resell clothing, but she spent $300 on this one outfit. She can't even resell it for $50. And the amount of work that it's going to take to like ship this, and it's crazy, guys. And that's assuming that she's even taking good care of her stuff, because a lot of women buy stuff and they don't even take good care of the stuff that they have, or it's sitting in the closet for so long that it starts to get old and stink, and it's like, who's going to buy this from you? And there are women who are going to disagree with me completely, but it's true. When women end up homeless and broke and in poverty, all their stuff ends up unless they can put it in a storage, most of their stuff ends up getting thrown out, left at the side of the road, and then they go live in their cars. And all of them, and they're like, I don't regret anything. You don't regret anything. You bought nothing of value. You own nothing of value. You can't resell any of the stuff that you have. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I look at my own, guys, I don't have a lot of stuff, but I look at my own personal stuff, and what do I own, right? I've got some clothes, and that I reuse, and I get a lot of value out of my clothing, right? I'm not out there buying stuff every day. I own my electronics, so I have a bunch of laptops that I use in business, and these are actually resellable things. I have a bunch of cell phones. These are actually they actually have some tangible value. All right. My iPhone, tangible value. My OnePlus, tangible value. I'm just giving you an example. All right. I have five laptops. Some of them are old. They're not even in great condition. I can still resell them on eBay and make a profit and make money off it. People will purchase it just for the parts. I look around and I realize now suddenly, well, holy cow. Even though I don't have a lot, pretty much everything I own, aside from my clothing, has value, real value, that I can resell. And the reason why I say clothing is because I don't own anything very expensive, like most men. I have some basic stuff that I get a lot of value out of because I constantly reuse my stuff. I'll wear my clothes until they're run down, and then I'll like change them. I'm just being honest. As I get older, I could care less what other people think of me, and I buy clothes like when I really need clothing. Like, okay, all right. And then when I throw it out, when I finally have to throw something out, I'm like, yeah, I got my money's worth out of this. I got my money's worth out of this. And if I could repair something and it's cheaper to repair it, I may just very well repair it. So you go through my estate, and I could say, wow, I actually do have an estate. You know, I have like right now, I'm building out my business. I'm building out my business. I'm building out my brand, and I'm building out various different states of income where, even if I'm not actively working, the business will just keep on going, and someone can take over my business and keep running it. And I'm not talking about my YouTube channel. I'm talking about outside of YouTube. I have a business. I have a business outside of YouTube. And if I were to pass away, someone can take it over and keep on running it. And I can design it in that very way if I choose to, where I have my employees and it's, separate as a corporation. But I may very well do that, and it can be run. And if I have family that I would want to leave it to, I can do that. And they can keep it running. They can keep it running because I have people who are working in the business that know how to run the business, and my family members, all they would have to do is just work with the people who are running the business for me to keep the business going if I'm no longer around. So I leave something of value in this world. Think about that. When men pass away, we leave a surplus on the economy. When women pass away, they leave a deficit on the economy. Over the course of a woman's life, she will, when she passes, she will take more from the economy than she will put into the economy. Over the course of a man's life, the average man's life, he will put more into the economy than he takes out. Women make 80% of all consumer purchases, so they spend most of the money in society, but men pay 80% of all taxes. And as men are walking away from society, it's over. There's less money for the state. And no one can ever work no one can ever work a man harder than he will work himself for his family and for his country when he believes in it and when he chooses to. A man will go for weeks, months, years, decades without proper sleep, without proper food, without proper care. He will sacrifice everything for his family and for his country if he loves them. But if a man has no love for family or country, he will fight for neither, and he will watch all of it collapse, just like with the Roman Empire, where the men in the Roman Empire, after women were given so much power and privilege, walked away, stopped working, stopped providing. They basically started living on their rocks. And no matter how much the empire punished these men basically were like, they still wouldn't marry. And all of the wealth of the Roman Empire went into subsidizing the living of the expenses of women. And eventually the empire had no money left, and it was taken over barbarians. But even long before then, it was already on its final leg. And how did the Roman Empire collapse? Under the name of kindness. It's about which gender constantly talks about kindness? Women, taking us on a date and spending all of this money on us and buying us everything we want. It's about kindness. Okay? Doing this for us or giving us this amount of money. It's about kindness. And who's also guys, kindness or guys, who's pushing kindness constantly among men? Simps. Oh, I'm a nice guy. I'll do this for you. Give women everything they want. Be kind, serve them. It's about kindness. Simps. You know who else are about kindness? Who preach kindness and love? Socialist, communist, Marxist. All right? Totalitarianist, tyrants. Guys, tyrants, they They preach about love and kindness. All of it was built upon love and kindness. All right? The modern day faces of love and kindness are Maduro, Kim Jong, Xi Jinping. These are the faces of modern day kindness, y'all. All right? The future for a lot of women is basically going to be finding themselves in states of poverty and destitution because the state is no longer able to completely subsidize their living, and men are walking away. So without men or the state to subsidize their living and them not being able to do it for themselves, a lot of women are going to find themselves homeless, destitute, living in the streets, shelters in their cars, or even in the woods. And those are a lot of the consequences that they're just facing. And a lot of it is because of these simps. Because these simps basically convince them that they are goddesses here on earth and men are born to serve them like ants. Hence, they should be treated like ants as well. And now they're finding out that that's not how society works. That's not how reality works. And they're going to face consequences for the choices that they've made. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Simps are demanding that men serve and obey women. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Ben walking away, and cheers.